Do you know what this is? That's right, it's a super popular Chinese street food snack made with tofu. Have you ever tried it before? Or maybe you're sitting there right now thinking, man, I really want to taste some authentic Chinese street food like this. Perhaps you're thousands of miles away from China, on the other side of the ocean, in the United States, the UK, Australia, India, or somewhere else. Drop a comment below and let me know which country you're watching from right now. A few days ago, I was reading the comments under a tofu making video, and saw someone say they really missed this dish. I want to tell that viewer, and all of you, that no matter where you are in the world, you can enjoy this delicious Chinese snack right now. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to make it at home. As long as you have a juicer or blender, you can turn soybeans into this tasty treat. So if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and let's get started. Hi everyone, I'm XiaoWu. Welcome to my channel. The countryside after rain has such a fresh, bright feeling. The air smells so clean, and you can see clouds and mist wrapping around the hills in the distance. It really lifts your mood. Every few days, I drive from our countryside home to the small town, about 6 kilometers away to pick up packages. These days, most of us young people in China do our shopping online, and then collect the parcels from the delivery point. Look at this big box, it's full of diapers, for my 7-month-old son. Today, while I was in town, I also had an important errand, buying the soybeans we need to make tofu. This is about 1 kilogram of soybeans, which cost roughly $1.3. But for this recipe, we'll only use less than half of it. So the main ingredient for this tofu snack costs about $0.6. If you want to try making this Chinese tofu snack at home, you can find soybeans at your local supermarket. I'll put all the purchase links for the ingredients and tools I used in the video description below. Thank you so much for your support. For this batch, we need 400 grams of soybeans. Have you seen this kind of traditional long-handled scale used in rural China? Most farmers here use it to weigh grains. Next, rinse the beans thoroughly in water several times. Pick out any black or spoiled ones. Then, put them in a basin with plenty of water. Make sure the water level is well above the beans. Let the soybeans soak for 12 hours. You can just leave them now and come back later. Last night, our whole family took a bath, so today I need to do some laundry. I always wash the baby's clothes separately, because I don't want any germs from our clothes getting on his. Let's check on the soybeans after soaking overnight. See how they've swelled up and gotten bigger. Now they're perfect for making tofu. My dad has been home these past few days. He works as a decorator and came back for a break. He's here to see baby 567 and will stay for about a week. For lunch today, we're having stewed duck, our own free-range ducks that walk around the fields every day, so the meat is incredibly fresh and tasty. Baby 567 is sitting beside us watching us eat. It looks like he really wants to join in, and try the delicious duck too. After lunch, I found today's dessert right next to the house in the grass, these bright red wild berries. Around here, this is the season when they ripen, and you can find them everywhere along the country roads. They taste really good, sweet and a little tart. Alright, now let's get to the actual tofu making steps. First, rinse the soaked and swollen beans thoroughly again. After soaking, any residual pesticides can be released, so wash them a few more times to be safe. Let me introduce the tools we'll need today. This is a regular juicer. It has many functions, but we only need the basic juicing mode. You can use any ordinary juicer you have at home. This is a 6 to 7 liter pot. Give it a good clean. Any pot that can hold about 6 liters of water will work fine. This is a basket with holes. We use it to drain water and help shape the tofu. If you don't have something similar, you can buy one online, or just use the link I provided in the description. This is cheesecloth or muslin cloth for straining the soy pulp. If you have a fine mesh strainer, that works too. And here's a very important item. Food-grade gypsum powder. This is what makes the soy milk coagulate into tofu. Its main component is calcium sulfate. There are other coagulants you can use, but gypsum gives the best flavor and texture. It's easy to find locally where I live. If you can't get it nearby, search online for food-grade gypsum powder specifically for making tofu, not industrial gypsum. I've also found a product clearly labeled for tofu making, and the link is in the description. Now that everything is ready, let's start. Step 1. Add water to the soaked soybeans, and blend them to produce raw soy milk. Take 200 grams of the soaked beans each time. Put them into the juicer cup, add water up to the 1.4 liter mark, and blend just like making juice. After about 3 minutes, the beans will be broken down into pulp. The best ratio is roughly 1 part soaked beans to 7 parts water. Then, use the cheesecloth to strain out the pulp, letting the soy milk flow into a basin. Squeeze the pulp firmly with your hands to extract as much milk as possible. Don't waste any. Repeat this process 4 times, and you'll end up with a big pot of fresh raw soy milk. Step 2. Heat the soy milk. Turn the heat to high and bring the soy milk to a full boil. This removes the raw bean taste completely. While it's heating, gently stir the bottom with a spoon, to prevent any pulp from sticking and burning. Also, skim off the foam on top so it doesn't overflow. Once it reaches a rolling boil, turn off the heat immediately. Step 3. Prepare the gypsum solution. When the soy milk has cooled to about 40 degrees Celsius, take some of the warm soy milk in a large bowl. Add about 13 grams of gypsum powder. Stir or shake well until the powder is completely dissolved, and you can't see any granules. Set it aside. Step 4. Thoroughly mix the hot soy milk with the gypsum solution. Once the boiled soy milk has cooled to around 85 to 95 degrees Celsius, it's time to combine it with the gypsum solution. To mix them thoroughly, divide the hot soy milk into 2 basins. Then have 2 people hold the basins, and pour them into the gypsum bowl from about 40 centimeters height in a fast, colliding stream. This pouring technique is something my mom taught me. She's been making tofu for years and has tons of experience. It's an old traditional method that really works well. Step 5. Coagulation to form tofu pudding. Now, cover the bowl with a lid, and wait for the soy milk to set into a solid. This coagulation process takes about 15 minutes. Important, do not stir or disturb it during this time, or you'll ruin the texture. After 15 minutes, lift the lid and check. This is the most critical step. It decides whether your tofu will turn out successfully. Here's a simple way to test. Gently drop a chopstick vertically into the mixture. If it stands upright on its own, you've done it right. If it sets successfully, what you have now is another classic Chinese snack called tofu now, also known as tofu pudding or silken tofu brain. I'll scoop a bowl aside. You'll see how to eat it in a moment. Now, we have reached the final step of tofu production, pressing and molding. Prepare your perforated basket or mold by lining it with clean cheesecloth. Then, use a spoon to gently break up the tofu pudding in the basin, and scoop it into the basket lined with cheesecloth. Most of the water will drain out, leaving the solid tofu behind. Wrap the tofu with the cheesecloth and let the remaining moisture drain naturally. You can leave it now. Come back in about 2 hours to check if the water has stopped dripping. While we wait, let me show you how to eat that bowl of tofu pudding I set aside earlier. It's super simple. Just add a spoonful of white sugar, stir it in, and enjoy. We typically have this, or soy milk, as our breakfast beverage. It is both nutritious and delicious. It's nap time for baby 5, 6, 7. We got him a little pillow he can hug while sleeping, and he seems to love it. Look, he's sleeping so peacefully. About 2 to 3 hours later, check the tofu. When no more water is coming out, it's fully set. Remove the cheesecloth from the top. You can now cut the tofu into even blocks with a knife. Place a flat board on top, flip the whole thing over carefully, and gently peel off the cheesecloth. Be gentle here so you don't break the tofu. And that's it, your fresh homemade tofu is ready. Eat the fresh tofu within 1 day for the best taste. If you have leftovers, store the blocks in clean water in the refrigerator. Change the water every day. It can keep for up to 3 days, but the longer it sits, the more likely it is to change flavor or spoil. Now, let's turn this tofu into a delicious Chinese snack, pan-fried iron plate style tofu. This is green onion. It grows right in the field next to my house. We'll use it for aroma. You can probably find it at your local supermarket. If not, no worries. Peel a few garlic cloves. Garlic is a common seasoning in Chinese cooking and adds a rich aroma. We'll also need some barbecue dipping sauce. If you like grilling, you probably already have it at home. Chop the garlic finely, put it in a bowl, and pour in the barbecue sauce. I like it spicy, so I use the spicy version. Heat some cooking oil in a pan until it starts to smoke. That's the right temperature. Pour the hot oil over the garlic and barbecue sauce, to release all the fragrant flavors. Then add a spoonful of soy sauce and a spoonful of vinegar. Mix everything well. Now you have the key seasoning sauce for this dish. In a flat pan, add some cooking oil. When it's hot, place the evenly cut tofu cubes in the pan and reduce to low heat. Fry slowly for about 3 minutes. Then, carefully flip each piece with a spoon. Be gentle so they don't break. When both sides turn a light golden color, spoon the prepared sauce evenly over every piece of tofu. Let it simmer on low heat for about 5 minutes, to absorb the flavors. Finally, sprinkle the chopped green onions on top and turn off the heat. Your fragrant, sizzling Chinese snack, pan-fried iron plate tofu, is ready to serve. Of course, there are many different ways to enjoy tofu in our area, but since we only made a small batch this time, I couldn't show them all. If you subscribe to the channel, I'll gradually introduce more tofu recipes, and different ways to cook it in future videos. Making all kinds of Chinese snacks is my hobby, and I love sharing the step-by-step process in my videos. When I was still working, I didn't have time to develop this hobby. Now that I'm unemployed and staying at home, I finally have plenty of time to cook the foods I love for my family. In our small town, there aren't many of these snacks available, so this is also a great way to save money. I can enjoy delicious food at the lowest possible cost. No matter which corner of the world you're in, I hope you can taste real Chinese flavors at home. Many of these dishes are ones I'm trying for the first time too, so if I can do it, you definitely can too. If you're following along and making the tofu with me, feel free to leave any questions in the comments. I'm happy to answer them. For some of the ingredients and tools I used, if you can't find them locally, check the video description below. I've put direct purchase links there. Thank you all so much for your support. See you in the next video. Bye for now.